Hello everyone and welcome back to This is the Review, my weekly Mandalorian recap and review series. Today we will be discussing Chapter 13, The Jedi. The long-awaited episode has finally arrived, and we will break it down for you casual fans who are feeling a little left out after this episode. I'll help you out. But before we get to the breakdown, of course, I want to take a moment to give a big thanks to this week's sponsor, Animation Legends. Guys, check these out. These are animation cells from the 80s cartoon Star Wars Ewoks. These are the original hand-drawn animations from the making of that TV show. These cells are from Animation Legends, and you can own some cells for yourself simply by following the link I'm providing. Animation Legends sells the original hand-drawn animation cells for most of your favorite old-school cartoon shows, including Ewoks, all for an affordable price. You can own an authentic piece from these shows without spending a fortune. And get this, guys, you can get an additional 10% off when you use my code SWFP98. Once again, SWFP98 at checkout. Guys, seriously, do not sleep on this. Owning an authentic animation cell from the Ewoks cartoon would be amazing in your collection, and Animation Legends is offering them all for an affordable price, and I'm offering them to you for an even more affordable price. Once again, use my code SWFP98 at checkout to receive 10% off of your order. If you don't want sales from Ewoks, then check out all the other TV shows you can own an official piece of. Check out Animation Legends through the link I provided. Thank you, Animation Legends. Alright, now let's dive into Chapter 13, The Jedi. Ahsoka freaking Tano, dear God, every week I keep saying that the new Mandalorian episode is my favorite, but I'm serious when I say that not only was this my favorite episode from the show, but it's one of my favorite Star Wars things ever. Every scene with Ahsoka on screen is my favorite. She was an absolute queen, and that opening scene was just incredible. It got me making strange and unusual noises the first time I watched, simply because I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. It's so surreal to see Ahsoka Tano in the flesh, and the end where she says this.
Now tell me, where is Grand Admiral Thrawn?
I nearly broke my arm because I got so excited I fell onto the ground. Not only did we get a live-action Ahsoka Tano played by Rosario Dawson as requested by the fans for years, but we also got a Grand Admiral Thrawn name drop. This episode is real, right? I'm not dreaming. This was just incredible. Now, putting Ahsoka aside, we also got the name reveal and backstory for the child, who we can now call Grogu. Grogu lived in the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, getting trained by many Jedi Masters until Order 66 when he was taken away and hidden. So wait, you're telling me that throughout the prequels and the Clone Wars series, every time we are in the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, Grogu was there too the entire time? I personally thought this was an amazing backstory for Grogu. Ties him deeply into the established lore of the franchise, and it opens up many more mysteries. Who saved him from the temple during the night of Order 66? Where was he hiding during the Imperial era? And how did the remaining Imperials find out about him? Though we got so many answered questions, we were also presented with new ones moving forward with the series. This episode clearly had a lot of Japanese and samurai influences, just as Star Wars itself always had, along with the Western influences, of course. One of my favorite scenes in this episode was when they combined the two genres that influenced George Lucas in the creation of Star Wars, with this double showdown happening at the same time, a samurai showdown and a Western showdown. An incredible sequence that also gives a huge nod to the genres that gave us this franchise we love. Alright, now I did say that I was going to help out the casual fans get somewhat caught up with the rest of us, so I will quickly run down the must-knows for Ahsoka Tano and Grand Admiral Thrawn as it relates to this newest episode of The Mandalorian. Starting with Ahsoka Tano, who was a Jedi Padawan during the Clone Wars conflict, she was assigned to Anakin Skywalker, who we know becomes Darth Vader at the end of the war. However, by the time that happens, she left the Jedi Order. During Order 66 and Anakin's fall to the dark side, she was helping Bo-Katan on the planet Mandalore. Their mission was to take back the planet from Darth Maul's rule. Ahsoka actually succeeds in capturing Maul, but on the way to taking him back to the Republic, Order 66 was executed. She survives along with her close clone friend Captain Rex, and they both went into hiding. During the Imperial era, she joined the growing Rebel Alliance, this time with brand new white lightsabers that she got from an Imperial Inquisitor's saber. The crystal was cleansed with the light side of the Force, essentially just cleaning the crystal from the dark side, turning them from red to white. She confronts Darth Vader on the Sith world of Malachor. Vader nearly kills her before Ezra Bridger, the main character of Star Wars Rebels, pulls her out of that time period into the world between worlds. I know it's getting weird, but just stick with me. There, they nearly escape an attack from Palpatine, and she jumps back into her timeline that she was taken from. At the end of the show, Ahsoka goes on a quest with the Mandalorian Sabine Wren to search for a missing Ezra Bridger, who went missing in the unknown regions while attempting to defeat Grand Admiral Thrawn. Now, Thrawn's backstory goes way back further than Ahsoka, but I'll explain the best I can. He was one of the first major expanded universe characters in the 80s and early 90s, after the original trilogy and before the prequels were released, in Timothy Zahn's highly popular Heir to the Empire series. Those books may not be canon anymore, but the character appears in canon on the animated show Star Wars Rebels. Thrawn is essentially an evil genius, emphasis on genius. He is a deadly and dangerous tactical mastermind that can outsmart his enemies with ease. He was the only alien species to rise in power in the Empire, and his tactical genius has given the Empire many deadly victories. He is a very sophisticated character and an art enthusiast. He is by far one of the most compelling Star Wars villains. However, he was taken out of the game before the events of A New Hope, when the Jedi Ezra Bridger stopped his attack on his home world of Lothal by summoning the hyperspace-traveling space whales known as Purrgil, and forced the two of them to jump into hyperspace far away into an unknown location, leaving Ezra and Thrawn completely lost in the galaxy. Now, the most likely reason Ahsoka is looking for Thrawn at the end of this episode could be because finding Thrawn could also mean finding Ezra. This storyline that started with the animated show can possibly continue in a spin-off Ahsoka Tano series that is already rumored to be in development. Guys, I'm just so excited for a live-action Grand Admiral Thrawn. This time period is essentially the same as the original Heir to the Empire series that first introduced Thrawn, so bringing this character back into play in the galaxy at this point in the timeline can bring back some fan-favorite elements into the canon. This excites me so much because after the purge of the old expanded universe from canon all those years ago, this 30-year time period between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens seemed very empty, dull, and boring. Now, as we explore this time period on The Mandalorian and in future projects, we are getting more and more interesting and exciting stories to fill this huge 30-year time period. And with Grand Admiral Thrawn possibly re-emerging in the galaxy from the unknown regions, who knows what kind of awesome stories we can get. And you know, that's really it for me this week. But before I go, I just wanted to mention my baby Grogu yarn doll giveaway will begin once my Facebook group reaches 500 members. So go ahead and join my growing community of Star Wars fans on Facebook, and you can possibly win your very own Grogu yarn doll. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting this show. I hope you enjoy tomorrow's episode. May the Force be with you.